How's it going, everybody? Thank you all very much. I always appreciate you watching. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. Welcome to another classic movie review. This is my review of one of my favorite sequels to one of my favorite films of all time, the original 1978 Superman from Richard Donner, starring Christopher Reeve, a true landmark film in the comic book genre. We have a new Superman film upon us from Warner Brothers Pictures from director James Gunn, coming out in just under a month away on July 11th. It's a little bit over the midpoint of June 2025 right now. And so I'm very excited. Obviously, I got Superman on the brain, and because of that, since I already talked about the first movie on this channel already, I thought, why not get into Superman 2 from 1981 from director Richard Lester, Christopher Reeve coming back as the Man of Steel, Kal-El slash Clark Kent slash Superman. This film might be my favorite performance from Reeve, and I think his best performance as the character in my opinion. And you also have, of course, Margot Kidder coming back as our Lois Lane. You got Mark McClure as our Jimmy Olsen. Also returning from the first film, recently passed away, Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. Great as Lex Luthor always. Also returning, you have his little sidekick Otis, played by Ned Beatty. Deliverance, anybody? And you also have Jackie Cooper coming back as our Perry White. But we also have some new additions in this one. You got Terrence Stamp as General Zod. You also have Ursa, played by Sarah Douglas. She was also in movies like Conan the Destroyer and pops up in The Return of the Swamp Thing. You also have Jack O'Halloran, who I also know from Dragnet, played Emil Muzz in that classic 80s comedy with Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd. But in this, he plays Nod, a mute Kryptonian. There is some fun Superman action in this movie, and yeah, a lot of the effects are very dated because this is an early 80s movie, but a lot of the effects still look really good and hold up because a lot of it was all practical, though I have to admit, a lot of it hasn't aged very well. But still, the action sequences are fun, pretty inventive. Superman tries to keep his identity a secret from Lois Lane using his alter ego Clark Kent, but he really wants to be with her because he's in love with her, and a big part of this movie is a love story between Superman and Lois Lane. And so while that's going on, you have the three badass evil Kryptonians led by General Zod, Terrence Stamp's character, who come down to Earth after escaping the Phantom Zone. Now, for those that haven't seen this and you intend on checking this out sometime, I'm going to talk about a major plot point that's kind of a spoiler, but I'm not going to give away the context of it, so you can watch if you want to, or if not, it's fine. But in the film, they find a way to take away Superman's powers. Much like in Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, they find a way to kind of temporarily mess with Peter a little bit by taking away his powers in that movie. And so what that does for Superman in this movie is you get some really great acting out of Christopher Reeve in certain moments when you really feel like that character is in dire straits and needs those powers badly at certain points. Now, on the minus side of things, with the development of Superman losing his powers, there's a good chunk of the film without our hero, without Superman, and we're following our three villains around just kind of being dicks to people on Earth, which is pretty fun for a while, because after a while you just start to wonder, when's he going to come in and save the day? When's he going to get his powers back? But the build-up and the way that happens and the reveal, all of that is very, very exciting and very thrilling. Now, whenever talking about Superman 2, one thing that movie fans like myself cannot leave out of the discussion is the Superman 2 Richard Donner cut version from 2006, the Richard Donner director's cut of the film, because a lot of movie fans know that because he was originally supposed to direct this film, he was fired mid-production and replaced with director Richard Lester, who completed the film and had to go and reshoot a huge percentage of the film in order to put his name on it. And so a lot of fans that are loyal to the Richard Donner vision from the first film love the Donner cut. As a fan of these movies, I do enjoy the Donner cut quite a bit, and there are some really cool and interesting ideas in there, and there's some fun there to be had. And if you haven't seen it, I do think you should check it out. First watch the theatrical and then see the Donner cut so you can do the comparisons, because overall, even though it is an enjoyable experience, it's not a fulfilling one, because overall it's just not a complete film. It's more like an assembly cut with some screen tests edited into the film. I think there is a perfect version that you could do with taking some of the stuff in the Donner cut, mixing it into the theatrical, and taking out some of the more goofy aspects in the theatrical, like a lot of the Richard Lester comedic stuff, because Richard Lester added quite a bit of slapstick comedy that really wasn't needed, but I don't mind it because it kind of fits the tone. And so overall, I do think the theatrical cut is a better version. No matter which version of the film you watch, though, the big showdown at the end is epic with the three evil Kryptonians fighting Superman, battling over Metropolis and all kinds of debris and crashing through things and being thrown into buildings and signs and all kinds of cool stuff. All done practical. A lot of it still looks very good even to this day. You got a great score from Ken Thorne, who is keeping the themes from John Williams, doing a good job and doing the same music pretty much, but adding a little bit of original stuff every now and then. I really love all the Gene Hackman, Lex Luthor stuff in this movie. Throughout the film, it looks like he's having a great time and having a lot of fun. I really love the team up with him and the three evil badass Kryptonians to take down Superman at the end. This is a very entertaining, thrilling, and exciting sequel. It's a good time. It's a lot of fun. It's just a really well-made popcorn comic book flick that I highly recommend you check out. Check out the first one, and then check out Superman 2 from 1981. A great, great film. And yeah, I give this movie 3.5 stars. This is a movie I'm sure you can find on streaming. You guys know me, I'm a hard copy kind of guy. So yeah, speaking of which, I have here to show you. First, I'm going to show you the Richard Donner cut, which came out in 2006. This is the Blu-ray, which again is more like an assembly cut. You know, it really isn't a finished film. At least doesn't feel like it to me. Especially when you see those scenes where it's obvious they're like screen tests. But yeah, still a pretty good watch and still fun. But for me, the better version, the one that I saw first, so I probably have a lot more of an attachment to it for that reason. But either way, I still think it's better. This is my DVD copy. I've always dug this cover too. I remember having the VHS of this back in the day, and it had the same cover pretty much. And I'm glad that they put the same cover on the DVD. But yeah, a really fun time and a great movie. If you haven't seen it, give it a watch. Thank you all very much for watching this classic movie review. I always appreciate it. If you're into the classics, if you're into movies, if you're into this kind of thing, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications on more reviews from me coming out very soon. If you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for all your support. I very much appreciate it. Please don't forget to comment, share, like, always helps out. And I'll see you on the next one. Everybody take care of each other. Till next time, peace out, and God bless.